Okay, as always, let's make sure we know what we're talking about. They offer credit terms at the end. Accounts receivable totaled 670. The allowance method, okay, so they comply with GAAP. The allowance for uncollectible accounts has a credit balance of 41,400 at the beginning. 25,500 were written off. Also, 21 in cash was received from an account that had previously been written off. The company estimates its bad debt expense by applying a percentage to accounts receivable. So they use the accounts receivable approach. That's the balance sheet approach. So they have to balance the allowance. So we have some figuring to do here, but we'll be okay. Let's just take a look and see what we have to do here. Let me move my paper up so we can work on this. So let's go through and take the easy pieces first, okay? At the end, accounts receivable totaled 670. We're going to need that. So accounts receivable is 670,000. And they apply 15% of that. So 15% of that is what they estimate to go bad. So that's 100,500. But since they estimate it using the accounts receivable, that's the answer in the T account. So if we're looking at our allowance account, when we're all done, we have to be at that 500,000. So we don't know what the bad debt expense is yet. So we have to wait for that. Okay, so let's go through and take a look. The allowance for credit balance, okay, let's put that in. It's there. Got it. 25,500 and receivables are written off during the year. Okay, so 25,500 were written off. So let's handle that. Allowance for doubtful accounts, debit 25,500. Credit accounts receivable 25,500. Remember, the balance of 670 accounts receivable is after that happened, because that says during the year, and that tells us at the end of the year. Okay, let's see what else is. So we took care of that. In addition, they received $2,100 from an account that was previously written off. So when that happens, you put it back into the allowance account and put it back into accounts receivable. So we have 2,100 and 2,100. So we put that back into allowance. And then we recognize the cash, 2,100 and 2,100. And now we have to figure out our bad debt expense. So what we have to do is figure out this algebra. So we have 41,000 plus 2,100 minus 25,500 plus some number equals $100,500. So I'm just going to do that little calculator dance here. So I have 41,000 minus the 25,500 that was written off, plus the 2100. Okay, that gives me 17.6 at this point right here. And now I need to know what I need to get from 17.6 to 105. So I'm going to take my 105 minus my 17,600. I need 82,900 for my bad debt expense. 82,900. 82,900. Now, the next part of the question says, how should we show this in the balance sheet? Well, there's two ways to show this in the balance sheet. Okay, you can simply show it at net, which would be the 670,000 accounts receivable, 670,000 allowance for doubtful accounts, 100,500 accounts receivable at net, or net accounts receivable of 569,500. That's what that works out to. Or you could simply say accounts receivable at net 569,500. Either would be acceptable. This method is a little more old school. This method is more modern. Both are accepted. Okay, good to go.